So, good evening, back again. And tonight we got two fellow fans on my channel. We could talk about the match preview game between Aston Villa against Newcastle United at Villa Park on Saturday afternoon, kick-off 3 o'clock. If you like the video, could you stick a like on the video and subscribe if you are new? And also, any questions for my two guests tonight? And yeah, fire them away. So, good evening to you guys.
Hi, John. How's things?
I'm good. And how are things with you, Liam? Good?
Yeah, not so bad. So over in Qatar at the moment, so we're a little bit ahead of you guys, but I'm glad to be here and thanks for having us.
Fantastic. And how's Rio?
I'm doing fine. I just got home a while ago, so this is the way to spend it.
Sure. Not clear, but we do the best we can on you. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, sort of thing. I mean, both teams had a good start. We got beat 4-2 at home against West Ham. Villa lost against Norwich against Watford. Got 3-2. And, yeah, Liam, not the best of starts in the first game. I mean, you're not that worried, are you, losing the first game?
No, I think Villa haven't had the best of pre-seasons with things going on. I think the whole Grealish thing upset plans a little bit, and I think they moved very, very quickly to get some quality back into the team with Ings coming in, and that seemed to move to a bit of a shift in formation. And I think Villa haven't had a lot of time to kind of work on those things. They had 2 pre-season friendlies that were cancelled as well. Which meant they kind of had to do some internal stuff. So it's not been ideal for Aston Villa, but I think it'll take a little bit of time for these guys to gel. But no, not worried. Not worried at the moment.
And Rio, I mean, not a good start for you Saturday. I mean, the one game gone, but are you going to overreact after just one game, or still plenty of time?
We're missing a lot of players, like obviously Douglas Luiz and obviously John Bailey came in, so you can't really expect much in like first game coming into the Premiership. So I feel it's more just a first game to get it started before everything else kicks off. When we make the race runs.
Sure. I think you'll bounce back against us on Saturday, so I don't feel confident going into the game at Villa Park on Saturday because our squad ain't good enough at all, which I'm going to come to later on. Yeah, Liam, Villa's made some good signings, Leon Bailey, and he also got Danny Ings and Bendy as well from Norwich. You beat also to the punch to get the signature of the Argentinian. And are you happy with your transfer business?
Yeah, I think Villa have brought in some real quality. I think the question now for Smith is how he gets all those players into the one formation. Obviously, do you go with Watkins and Ings up top as a 2, or do you stick with Watkins and have Ings as a man that comes on? But I'm sure when Villa were signing him, they would have been promising him some game time. Lots of talk coming out of the club saying that we're finished. But I think if Villa are going to replicate what they had last year, a defensive midfielder has to be a priority. I think the opening game was a clear sign of that as well. I think the double pivot that they try and use with McGinn and Nakamba is just not working. So a defensive midfielder, I think, needs to be brought in before the window closes. We've been linked to lots of players, but let's see. I see Ward-Prowse has signed a new contract there in the last hour or 2. So that's one that's been ruled out. But I think we need an out-and-out number 6 that's going to do a holding position.
Yeah, definitely. And then you have a quality team. You got the money to do it as well. I mean, you missed out on James Ward-Prowse as well because you wanted him as well. But he signed a 5-year contract with Southampton. I'm very surprised at that because he's such a talented player. And it goes to show if they get relegated, they know they're going to get a hell of a lot of money for this guy. Probably a lot more than 25 million pound on that. And Rio, same questions for you. New signings. Rio?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty happy. If we finish now, I'm pretty happy with the signings. But I think we do need another defensive midfielder just for closure. Like someone like Sander Berge or even Auer. I know he's going like linked heavily with Spurs, but like a player like him would be great for us just to have in case something goes wrong.
Yeah, I see what you mean. And yeah, I mean, I think Villa's got a good setup there as well. I mean, you got a good owners as well, unlike our ownership. And they're backing Dean to the hilt, Liam, because obviously they like him and you've got him a long-term contract. And I think he's going to be there for quite a long time, Dean.
Yeah, I think so too. I think they're building a nice little background team, and I think they brought in lots of people behind the scenes who are doing a lot of the heavy lifting, scouting wise, getting reports, going and watching the games. I think Dean plays the kind of football that I think the owners want to see, which is that kind of leading on the front foot. I think that did leave us a little bit susceptible in defence last year. The year before that, where we kind of got a little bit lucky with Project Restart, where we had a little bit of a break, and Dean got the team together and kind of sorted a lot of things out. And I think that showed last year in regards to our defence. I think we were in the top 5 or 6 for defensive goals conceded. So we were quite tight with that. But yeah, they seem to be back in Smith. I think the big question is how Villa succeed this year. You know, if Villa were to finish, say, 15th, do you put that down to a Grealish thing? Do they then try and change things up? I doubt it. I think they are sticking with Smith for the long term. But I think he needs to consolidate a lot of the things that happened last year, and that over-reliance on Jack that happened last year. I know he's spoken about passing that kind of pressure on to players like Leon Bailey, onto Buendia in particular as well. So yeah, it's an exciting season ahead. Lots to kind of work on.
Sure. I've also felt that I'll be so excited during the season at the minute. Like, obviously, not a good start, but at the end of the day, for the future sort of thing, you've got some attacking players. I like Martinez and goal. I think he's a quality keeper. Him. Arsenal must be absolutely pissed sick letting him go to you guys, because Martinez, cracking keeper, and he's going to be one of the big part of the season.
Yeah, I do actually really like Martinez, and I think when we had Pepe Reina, he wasn't the best, but as well he was pretty old. But I think now that we've got Martinez, we shouldn't need another one, and especially the fact that Arsenal just signed Aaron Ramsdale on for 30 million shows how much they've messed up by selling him when they could have had someone like Martinez to do the job for them.
Yeah. I mean, 20 million, that's an absolute steal. I mean, £20 million for a goalkeeper. I tell you what, our club would not have done that at all whatsoever. We just buy cheap. I mean, our chairman, our chief executive stressed buying Joe Willock for £25 million. What I heard as well, I mean, changing tack, they wanted a loan deal. And then, out of the surprise, we got him with a permanent deal for £25 million. I mean, I don't think he's going to play on Saturday, in my personal opinion, because he only played 45 minutes of pre-season. And he's not match fit yet, but I think Jeff Hendrick will probably play in midfield. If he does, then we are done. I mean, if you look at your midfield, you got McGinn and Douglas Luiz as well. I mean, how do you rate Douglas Luiz? I mean, he seems all action, isn't he? I mean, for me, I think he's a good player. I do like Douglas Luiz. Is he world class? Probably not, but for me, I think he does the job, Liam.
I think he's raw. I think there's a lot of, he signed for City and then went out on loan to Spain for 2 years. And he kind of come back in, and you're right, he was all action, a little bit naive. And I think James Ward-Prowse kind of benefited from that a lot in the free kicks that he was giving away around the edge of the box. You can't be that naive against top quality players like that who are going to punish you all the time. He's played a lot of games in the summer. He was part of the Olympics team. He was there for the Copa America as well. So I don't see him featuring at the weekend. I think he'll be given a little bit of a break, and I think they'll stick with Nakamba and McGinn. But I think there's definitely a player in there with Luiz. But I think he's missing someone there who's going to shape him and kind of really almost hold his hand and coach him a little bit. And I don't know whether maybe Smith might look to bring someone on the coaching team that might be there to help that kind of midfield and guide them a little bit more, because he is a little bit raw. But he will come good. I think he will play his part. He's not a number 6, which is where Smith keeps on playing him. He wants his instinct is to go forward all the time. and he gets caught out then trying to be defensive. So I think if they can try and get him into that number 8 role, I think that will benefit the team better, and I think it'll take a little bit of pressure off Luiz in regards to the defensive role. So yeah, there's a player in there for sure.
Yeah, I'll totally agree. It'll get better and better in years to come. And like I said, he's raw. Excuse me, he's not the finished article yet for me, but he is a decent player. But I think if you look at Douglas Luiz, I think he's better than our midfielder. Let's be real about that. I mean, let's be real. I mean, do you agree with that? Douglas Luiz, a bit raw, and he needs a bit of coaching.
Yeah, I think so. Like, even we brought in Sanson, like I think it was last January. I can't really remember, but we brought him in. We didn't really get to see much of him, but I think Douglas Luiz is gonna have to try and prove himself now because he just got back after winning gold medal and all of that. And I think if he wants to like actually solidate his place, then he's gonna have to put a lot of work and get that done.
Yeah. I totally agree. If you got any questions for Liam and Rio, could you please leave in the live comments, and they'd be quite happy to answer your questions. So just keep farming along, and I'd be absolutely amazing. And do smash the likes up, and also subscribe if you we've got 757 subscribers subscribing to my channel. Thank you very much indeed for that. And yeah, I want to talk about Wesley. I mean, where is he? Is he not playing for at all? Where is he? I haven't heard him for a long time. I mean, what's gone on with him?
Wesley had a very bad injury where he'd done the cruciate, and that was on New Year's Day about 18 months ago now. And he's done all the training. He had a couple of setbacks in his rehab, and we were kind of hoping that this pre-season that he would be able to get a lot of game time under his belt. But as I told you at the start, we've missed out on a lot of preseason games. And in the second preseason game that we had, he got sent off after like 9 minutes. He came on, and 9 minutes later he got sent off. So that wouldn't have gone down well with Smith. I think a lot of fans were surprised that he kept hold of the number 9 jersey. There's rumours that he's going to go out on loan. We've not really seen enough of him to kind of know what's there with him. Again, he's another player who's raw. He's kind of been knocking around the leagues, and he kind of had a good season when he was in Belgium. So I wonder whether the plan will be to let him go out on loan for a little bit and maybe see what he can do, maybe get some minutes in the legs. I don't think Smith can take a risk on him trying to find minutes and trying to prove himself. I don't think he's a Smith player anymore. I think Watkins and Ings will apply the pressure from the front, which is what the whole idea of the Villa game is that the front 3 or 4 are going to be putting pressure on from the front. Wesley doesn't give you that. So yeah, I'm interested to see what's going to happen with him. I think he's going to go out on loan by the end of the window.
Yeah, I think it probably. I mean, Lazio wanted him last season as well, but when Wesley came in, he's a big unit. I mean, I think he was signed wrong Brazilian because when Rafa Benitez was at Newcastle, he wanted him for £25 million. We was trying to get him for weeks and weeks and weeks. Yeah, actually wouldn't spend the money. Yeah, and then when Aston Villa came in, bang, straight in, no messing about, got the guy, and we lost out on him. But looking back, sort of feel like I need to see another season from this guy for I reserve judgment. But he's a big unit. What's he, 6'3"? He's a big, huge unit. But yeah, I mean, I hope he does well, sort of thing. And for Rio as well, I mean, obviously last season, I think he finished, was it 10th? He finished last season, 10th, which is 10th, 11th, which is a cracking season for me. And can Dean Smith improve in the team, Rio?
Yeah, I think he can, but I think it'll be hard for him because he doesn't have John Terry anymore to sit by his side and help him coach. But I still think he can do the job if he gets more coaching staff because O'Kelly left, John Terry left, and obviously that goes on. But I think if he puts his head straight up and takes some like responsibility, signs some more players, gets more coaching staff, I think we should be doing fine.
Yeah, I totally agree as well there. Totally agree. Got some comments coming in as well. Got Lily as well, Leicester City fan. Are Douglas, Luiz, Beerley and Watkins back? I know Louise may not be back. Is Bailey and Watkins going to play, Liam, on Saturday?
Yeah, I think Bailey's a shoe in to start. I think he was electric when he came on at the last weekend. Louise is back training, but I think he will be eased in. And the talk at the moment is that Watkins will be available, which I think means that I think Ings will drop to the bench. I think Watkins will lead from the front. I know in an interview during the week, Smith has said about how Ings needs to do more pressures from the front. So I imagine Watkins will come straight in. But yeah, keep an eye out on Bailey. I think he's going to give Murphy a tired time of the weekend.
Yeah, and also Emil Kraft if he plays as well, because we played 3 centre-halves, as you well know, as well documented. Our back three last Sunday in the second half were absolutely shambolic. First half, we played okay. Second half, I don't know if you watched it, guys. We were absolutely poor. And those sort of performances we've seen so many times last season, and it ain't good enough for Newcastle United. Remember, Steve Bruce, defensive manager, heard people cry. And I got evening lads, cabbage already. That's from Steve Jake, and I'm sure fans, I hope they check out Steve Bruce's fist. Even John, even lads seem to report be okay. Hope the fellow fans and our fans bring cabbages to the game. If we are Newcastle, say it's got a cabbage heat sort of thing. So we turn up sort of thing. Wow. Jake, has there been any sentiment towards Grealish leaving amongst the fellow fans that you've seen, guys? I'll start with you, Rio.
I think it kind of died down a bit, and I think people still joke about it. Like, if you go on Aston Villa's Twitter, it's just full of City fans in the comments, and they're still trying to get in our heads about it. But I'm pretty sure a lot of the Villa fans have moved on. But I still think it'll be hard for us, but I think we'll get through.
And what about Liam? Are you unhappy about Grealish leaving, or?
Look, he goes at my blessing. I think Jack has done an awful lot for Villa. He stayed with us in the Championship and got us back up. He consolidated the season for us. I know there's talk coming out now that he was pushing a move to United last year and Spurs the year before. But look, Jack has put us in a very, very good position. And 11th last season was very good. 100 million in the kitty again. Villa will spend that wisely. I think Twitter is a cesspit of negativity and people calling him all sorts of names. But I think you get that 20% of fans in every club, and maybe it's a lower percentage, but just those people who don't respect what he's done and calling him a snake and stuff. Similar to what Delph was. But I think it's a different story for Grealish. I think he would have been in turmoil. I think his granddad played for Villa. His father is a massive Aston Villa supporter as well. That won't have been easy for him. He needs to be playing at the highest level. He needs to be challenging himself. So I'll not begrudge him going, and he'll show how good he is.
Yeah, definitely. You probably win medals, trophies in Man City, and then eventually when he comes back, I'll bet you any money he'll come back to Villa when he's about 30, 31. I'll bet you any money he'll come back. Mark my words, he'll come back to Villa, and they love him anywhere. The door's always open for Jack Grealish. And I've got EasyJet Superfan. Need to get your first name, buddy, lad. And hello to me again. Yeah, when does the match happening? It kicks off 3 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. So I'll be doing a watch along for that one as well. Join us for that. And not the best start games. Watford, what went wrong in your eyes, Rio? What went wrong on Saturday? Were Watford too good?
I don't think our fullbacks done enough. That was one thing with Ismail Sarr being absolutely rapid. Target didn't have a great game, and then we pushed Target out and Young into the defensive role. He's kind of done more because he's obviously was able to catch up and is more experienced as a left back. But
yeah,
as well, I think it's a fact that Nakamba hasn't played much. He didn't really play in preseason, and obviously with Douglas Luiz gone, it was hard for us to get back. So I think, as I said, near the start, it was more of a starting game to get us started, and then as we go on, we'll improve more and more.
Yeah,
getting used to the signings.
It's just a blip. But if I was a fella, I probably wouldn't react. But I'm certainly going to react on Sunday because we've seen too many performances like that last season. And same question for you, Liam. What went wrong on Saturday?
Yeah, I kind of agree with Rio. I think, Sarr was the obvious threat there. We didn't do enough to nullify him. He was going to be the one that he's been their talisman last year, and we didn't do enough to nullify him. I think we didn't do enough to nullify the game. I think with Watford being back in the Prem, fans being back, I think the atmosphere was always going to be electric. That needed Villa to take this thing out of the game, play possession football, annoy the Watford fans and then start picking them off. But I think and that's what probably Newcastle need to do at Villa Park, is to try and nullify that crowd. Whether that happens, we'll see on Saturday. But yeah, as you said, I think it's a bit of just a blip.
Yeah, I mean, when Steve Bruce was at Villa, sort of thing, right? I mean, does he play the same way like he does in Newcastle? Because I watch Newcastle now under Steve Bruce. This is first season now. We just don't press at all whatsoever. What we do, we just stand off. Our strikers don't press the defence, the high line. When we get to the halfway line, we just stand off them as well. Comes to us as well. I'm surprised our three centre backs haven't been treaded on 30 women's on Rodgers backwards tours, because at the end of the day, we just do not press. We try to play counter-attack football, right? And when it comes off, right, very rarely it comes off. But Steve Bruce's football, I'm not going to lie. I mean, I'm just bored and rigid, because at the end of the day, I don't know what the style is at Newcastle United. I mean, when he was at Villa, what was his style? Did you have a style though, Goliam?
Yeah, no, it was just, it almost felt like it was being winged all the time. It didn't feel like we'd done anything to play to our strengths. It didn't feel like we were doing anything to counteract with the opponent that we had. Villa's game plan seemed to be playing for 1-0 wins. We always conceded first, and the game plan then went out the window. We were throwing Christopher Samba up top as a striker. We were finishing games with 3-4 strikers in the field. It was so random. And we used to dread the 2 o'clock release of the lineups, because you just didn't know what was going to happen. We had players that were playing the wrong positions. We had left backs playing right midfield. We had right backs playing left back. It really was crazy. And I think this kind of game of bingo that was being played with Steve Bruce in the interviews after, and it was just phrases thrown out all the time, the same kind of stuff. We done well. We nullified them. There was no game plan. There was nothing. It was just pure panic stations. If we went 1-0 up, it was sit back, try and hold it. And I absolutely empathise about where Newcastle fans are right now. It doesn't seem like there's anything to look forward to. I think you've got players there that naturally want to attack. I think Sam Maximum is just a beautiful player to watch, and I don't feel like Bruce can take any of that credit. That's just his natural style. And I think him and Wilson pair up pretty well. But again, I don't think that would be anything of Bruce's making. I think those guys have probably just went to the side and said, this is what I want, this is what I'm going to do. And they pulled it together. But yeah.
Wow. I tell you what, don't forget, Steve Bruce does not do tactics, by the way. He doesn't do tactics. All he does, right, I mean, in the pre-season, right, and we played York, we got beat by a goal to nil. Yeah, never changed his tactics. Always 3 at the back, 5-3-2. Then against Doncaster, struggled to beat them 3-2. Against Rotherham, we got outplayed by Robin United, mind. Yeah, and it took a Jeff Hendrick header to spare our blushes, right? And people are saying, oh, it's only a friend, less sort of thing. Yeah, and I said to the people, right, those form pre-season ain't good enough, right, to take into the new season, and I've been proved right. The fitness ain't there. He plays out positions, right? Excuse me, right? He plays like Jacob Murphy, right winger, right wing back. Matt Ritchie is a winger, left wing back. Yeah, we're talking about plays out positions. ASM's a winger. He plays him behind Wilson. Yeah. Miguel Almiron plays as a 10 role. He plays in the midfield 3. Steve Bruce hasn't got a clue. I don't think he even knows what he does as well. He doesn't even know what system it is as well. And Leo, I mean, I bet you're glad that Steve Bruce is so long there, sort of thing, for your club, sort of thing. I bet you must be frustrated as well.
Yeah, I really didn't like Steve Bruce one. I never did, but I mean, obviously my dad being a United fan, he was always like, "Oh, Steve Bruce is gonna be great for you, isn't this?" But I never really liked him. He was always just random, and as Liam said, he played like 4 at the top, and you just never know what happened. and I'm glad he's gone. I do think Dean Smith is much more, not even experienced, but just, he knows how to handle the situations better. And this season was keeping Steve Bruce, and I don't know how that's going to play out for you, but hopefully it doesn't go bad.
Yeah, the fattest sort of thing. I got part of it, but all it is, right? I mean, the trouble with Steve Bruce, right? He's going to be here, like, you know, I want him gone. If you don't start well, if we're in the bottom three, right, by Christmas time, I want him gone. This is the manager. I don't know if you guys know about this, right? I mean, there's a part, right? We won 2 games in 21, 2 games in 21, right? And out of those 21 games he played, we lost the last 6 games, right? That should have been enough to get him sacked. Mike Ashley doesn't want to sack manager, so you don't want to pay him compensations, right? Mike Ashley's ones appointed him, right? We paid, what, £4 million to Sheffield Wednesday, right? Compensation and get this fraud into our club, right? And I was just thinking, I couldn't believe our hearing sort of thing, but Steve Bruce, he's under pressure for me because he needs to change it up. I mean, if he plays something like 4-4-2 or even a 4-2-3-1 and we get beat and have a real go and we get beat, I say, okay, cool. I accept that because at the end of the day, I mean, you know, he tried. But this manager does not try at all whatsoever. He is just a joke of a manager. I've got some more comments here, by the way. Enough of me chatting. Sorry, lads. Sluggish and poor team setup. Sounds familiar? Be thankful you weren't playing Man U Old Trafford. It could have been worse. Yeah, I agree. And Jules, we had a 2-1 lead on Sunday, Jake, and lost. No words but same feelings. I mean, 2 many of those last season. So sympathise with you, Jake. And I've got the first game of the season, Jules, and then I've got Jake. Obviously, mate, really hope we get a result against Everton just to stop the more fickle fans having a meltdown. Yeah, I'll have to agree there, Jake. So, yeah, I was going to say to ask you a question, Liam. As a Villa fan, what's the best game you've ever seen from a Villa fan?
Oh, I think goals-wise, I got to see them play Norwich in the Championship, and they won 4-2. It was the game that Hurahan got a hat-trick, and Davies had started his first game. I think that was a great game to watch. But I saw them in their first game in Europe when they were playing CSK, when they were back in Europe under O'Neill. And the atmosphere was electric that night. I was standing in the Holt with one of my friends, and we drew 1-1. But yeah, they were 2 cracking games. Being over here abroad, I don't get to see an awful lot of games, but yeah, they're 2 in recent memories have been very good.
Wow. Brilliant stuff. And Rio, what about you? What's been your best game for Aston Villa as a fan?
I think one of my favourites. It isn't like it wasn't like anything to do with being a good game, but I think when we played Nottingham Forest 5-5, I think it's just how much of it's aged, because I'm pretty sure Matty Cash played as a left winger in that game and then came to us to play as a right back. I just think it aged like so perfectly, and I think Tammy Abraham got something like 4 goals, and it was a great match. But yeah, I just love how much it's we've grew from there and expanded, and now that we've got one of their players that scored against us playing as a right back.
I'll tell you what, I mean, Villa's a massive club for me, sort of thing. They won the Champions League or European Cup in 1982. Am I right? It's 82. Massive club, Villa. Massive club, yeah. And you know, whoever goes into Villa Park and get that team right, if they get into Europe or if they win a trophy, whoever gets it right, it could be Dean Smith. That manager will be a legend. And touching off that, I've got one from Jake. He's a Leeds United fan. Do you think Smith is the manager to take Villa to European level, or do you feel he has a ceiling? So, you, Jake,
Yeah, that's a great question. That's a very tough question. I think this season will be a good eye opener into that. I think personally, we relied a lot on Jack. Yeah, that's a tricky one. That's a very, very hard question to answer. I think he needs to get more of the Brentford style football that he was playing with Brentford to be brought into the Villa game. I think Smith has learned a lot in the 2 years that he's been in the Prem. I think again his first season he was a little bit naive, trying to go a little bit too attacking. I think Craig Shakespeare has been a great person to come in alongside him. He's a very experienced coach. But yeah, I think he could get us into Europe. I don't think it'll be this year. I think this year is all about consolidating things, and then next year having that crack at it. I'll go with yes. I think he is.
Yeah, I mean, you got to give him time. He may surprise you this season. You just know that you've got the quality, you've got the team to do it. So you've got the squad to do it as well, and attacking force to do it as well. And like you, Rio, do you think Dean Smith is going to take into Europe one day, or is there a ceiling to it?
I think he's capable, but I think it depends what he does from now. That'll judge whether he can or not. Like even something small, like bringing in more coaching staff and like even making small signings and playing some of our youth players more. That's what will judge if he's going to do it one day. But as Liam said, I don't know if he's going to do it this season, but I think next season it'll be a good eye opener to see if he can.
Yeah, totally agree there. But touch wood, it makes it there. So if they do get it, that'd be fantastic for Midlands football. Got Jake. People forget Villa are the second longest serving top flight club in history. Well, I didn't know that, but thanks for that stat there, Jake. And yeah, massive deal, and I was aware of that as well, sort of thing. So just here news just off topic, come out of Villa about Lewandowski. I mean, apparently Lewandowski wants a new challenge, according to reports in Germany. I mean, do you think we see Lewandowski in the Premier League anytime soon? For me, I think you have one more move, and I think that he'll go to Italy. For me, and I hope he does go to Italy. I'll start with you, Liam.
I think England's probably the most likely place. I think they're the team, they're the league that can probably afford him. He's going to come with a massive wage demands. I think he's probably looking for another payout. I know he's put it down to he wants to challenge himself in another league, but he must be 31 now, is he? So yeah, I think the Premiership could see him, but it depends on what way the money goes. I don't think people in Italy, unless Juventus use it and replace Ronaldo with him, possibly, but probably more likely be in the English leagues.
Yeah, and Neil Lewandowski could be coming to the Premier League, or do you think he's going to go abroad if he leaves Bayern Munich?
It's a tough one because the big teams that were trying to get him would be Chelsea and City, teams have money for it. And I don't think Chelsea are already automatically out of that because they all just signed Lukaku. But yeah. I think City could be the team to do it if they don't sign Harry Kane, because obviously they can't rely on Gabriel Jesus to lead their line because he isn't like a City level player. So I know they play I can't remember who up top, but I just think they need someone strong that will be able to lead their line. I don't know if he'll come this season or next, but I think he's probably most likely to go.
Yeah, I mean, you'd be cheaper bar as well. I can't see Bayern Munich, in my opinion, going to let him go because they want Haaland as well, and that would be for next season. But if Lewandowski goes, I can guarantee you one thing: I can see Haaland going to Bayern Munich for £70 million. So that's my bet. I've always said people's going to say that Haaland's going to come to the Premier League and stuff like that. But for me, mark my words, it'll be off to Bayern Munich once Lewandowski leaves the club. I might put a bet on that as well. I got Jules as well, very ambitious. Lewandowski who joined Newcastle, couldn't say that with a straight off face. Good luck with that. And yeah, that's from Jake. And then I've got Jake as well. Like Villa, though, as long as we flat track bullies, then mid-table's guaranteed. So I just see it, but Newcastle on one of those teams we can expect to get points against thanks to Steve Bruce. I don't know if you watched Newcastle, Liam. Do you think we're good enough to stay on the boost this season, or do you think you're going to get relegated?
I think you've got the quality in the team. It's keeping the likes of Wilson and San Maximum injury free. But the teams that are coming up look like quality sides. Brentford look really good. It'll be interesting to see how Tony kind of performs. Watford look like they've got more of a system. And Norwich, they've used the Buendia money to kind of bring in Rashika and a few other players. I think Newcastle will be safe, but I think they're going to lose. They're going to lose games against sides that maybe they expected to pick points up against, and they'll probably pick up a point or two against some of those bigger sides where again you weren't expecting to pick it up. I think Mike Ashley is sticking with Bruce because he's keeping them in the top flight, and he is savvy at picking up points against teams that he's not expected to do it. And yeah, unfortunately, that's why Ashley is sticking with him. But yeah, I can't imagine that you guys look forward to the season ahead. And most games, as I know it was for Villa, we weren't expecting to win games. It's not a nice feeling.
Yeah, that's a worrying thought there, Lee, because at the end of the day, I mean, I never watched Steve Bruce as manager at all whatsoever. He's only done that because he's a Geordie sort of thing, and to keep the fans quiet. No, I mean, the fact is, what Ashley should have done, he should have got a character reference or asked a reference from Dave Whelan. He used to be chairman of Wigan Athletic. Should have spoke to him about it first before thinking about it if they weren't sure. But they went ahead and got him. Because, like you said, because he's trying to keep us up, sort of thing. I can guarantee you now, if we're in the bottom three in December, you look at the fixture list we got in December, and we're in the bottom three, we are going to be in huge trouble. I can guarantee that as well. And I do not trust this manager at all. But even if he gets us relegated, I bet you actually give him a new deal, right? Just put two things swap out us. We get relegated. We will not get back up again. We were never, ever going to get back up again. We are going to struggle big time. We'd be lucky if we get into a lower mid-table sort of thing like for me. And I don't know what you think, Real, that if we get relegated, do you think we're going to get back up again under Bruce? I doubt it.
I think if you make the right choices, like if you get relegated, you'll obviously have to get rid of Steve Bruce, maybe getting some money. Like, I'm not sure how financially okay you are, but I think even like sell some players, buy a Jack Grealish for us, like a player that can lead your line and be like better than like. Obviously, we got called the one-man team for a while, but I think if Newcastle do get relegated, which I don't think they will, they'll have to do some big things if they want to get back up again straight away.
Absolutely. We need to, because at the end of the day, he needs to go. We need a younger manager sort of thing to come in. The biggest problem in Swallow is Ashley as well. He's a big problem. He's the one that's got a problem. He's washed his hands off the club, and he doesn't want to spend a penny. He doesn't want to spend a penny at Newcastle. Do you know what I mean? And we did for Joe Willock. That's only because he got rid of some player sort of thing. Good enough for Newcastle United. But I don't hold much hope for my club at all whatsoever. I really don't. I got come from Peter. And guys, you might be interested in this as well. Even everyone, even to Peter, will be okay. John, have you listened to Steve Bruce's interview at BBC Newcastle? I watched the first part of it, though. But unfortunately, he wasn't grilled enough for me. He wasn't asked the hard questions, sort of thing. So I don't know if you watched it, Pete. I mean, was it what you expected? Did he have a hard time, or did he? Did fans have a go at him later on? I don't know. But and I've got Jose. No, John, we don't have a manager. He is an imposter, absolutely. From outside in. Looking for a while, like Villa has been gambling with a bit of regards to FFP and taking financial risks since the last season of the Championship. Any worries as fans in that regard, Liam? I'll start with you.
No, we are the only team in the Premiership who is debt-free. So our owners have come in and they have completely wiped Aston Villa's debt. They are constantly pumping money in. We have got, I think they're the 5th rich owners in the Premiership. So we can afford to kind of go that little bit bigger. We've spent, was it 75 million so far? 95 million so far, and that's so we've and then sold Jack for 100. So ideally, I'd like us to go and spend another 20 to 30 million on a defensive midfielder. So that would keep us in check. I think we've got a few more players that will go out. I think Wesley will eventually be sold. If it's not this window, it'll be the next window. I think someone will pick up Hurahan for a couple of million. Gilbert, I think, will leave. He will go for a couple of million, and maybe one or two others. But no, I don't think financial fair play, as far as I'm aware, is an issue for us.
That Gilbert looks a decent right back. When I watch him play, he looks a decent right back.
Yeah, I don't think he's in favour with Smith. He was shipped out on loan then to France. He's come back in. I've seen a little snippet of behind the doors friendly that we done with Liverpool, and he was caught out massively out of position. So I don't think that Smith trusts him. I think Tunzebi was brought in as cover for centre back and for right back. So I can see his days being numbered. I think he could still do it in the Prem. He's one for getting the crowd up with slide tackles and stuff, but some people would argue that he's normally having to do those tackles because he's been caught out of position. So I liked him. But I think he's going to go. I think he's going to be sold.
Fair enough. At least that guy who plays up front, he's an Egyptian lad. I can't remember his name. The one who scored the winning goal, which got you into the car. Aston one. What's happened to him?
He's cruciate.
Cruciate.
Yeah, so I think he's expected back in January, but again, we'll take a bit of match fitness and stuff for him to come back.
Wow. Are you a fan of Trezeguet as well, Rio? Trezeguet, fan of him?
I think he's too inconsistent, but when he has his game, he has his game. Like when he comes on, he can play, he'll do good, but at the same time, like sometimes he can just be a bit iffy, and as I said, too inconsistent for us. But I don't think he's going to get much game time this season.
Fair enough. Do you agree with that, Liam?
Yeah, he's not good enough defensively. I think he brings a really good energy to the team, and without some of his performances towards the end of our first season, we wouldn't be where we were. He got some very crucial goals. I think we will get rid of El Ghazi this summer, and I think next year then we'll probably ship out Trezeguet.
Fair enough. I mean, I wouldn't mind having Trezeguet myself for these levels and the players that strikers we've got, apart from Wilson, of course. I'd take Trezeguet all day long because I think you do well. If you had any Newcastle, got some more comments here. Jay said, cheers. A lot of talk about Fulham's finance for a while, but not many facts being thrown about. So good to be a bit more clear on that. Thanks a lot for that one, Jake. And Peter, Steve Bruce had a very easy time from the fans. Listeners didn't ask a hard question. More like Steve Bruce fan club asking the questions. I want to say something about that, right? I mean, I'm not being funny, right? But all our Newcastle fans, right? It's all talk. Okay, I ain't gonna lie, yeah. They're gonna do this, they're gonna do that, right? They say they're gonna try and get boosts out. We're gonna have demonstrations, protests. We're not very good at that as well, right? But at the end of the day, we as fans just do not follow it through. Man United fans will follow it through. I'm sure Villa will do it as well. But at the end of the day, Steve Bruce had a phone in tonight, BBC Radio Newcastle, right? And according to Peter, I thought he was going to have a hard time, Steve Bruce, but he didn't. They again, he got away with it yet again from me, Steve. He's got away with it yesterday. According to that message, right? Didn't ask the hard questions and that sort of thing. I think people, some of our fan base have bottled it big time. Bottled it. You know what I mean? I don't know what you guys make of it, sort of thing. I mean, we are Newcastle fans. We're so passionate, okay? And we say going to do this and we do that sort of thing. But it seems to me that Steve Bruce again's having an easy time again. I don't know what he was like at Villa. I was talking with Liam.
Yeah, so it was the same kind of thing with Bruce. All the same phrases been thrown out after every game. The same kind of things been rhymed off. We were the better team. We had the better half. All these excuses were always being rhymed off. And I know it's always made a joke of, but it took someone throwing a cabbage at Steve Bruce for him to be gone. I think that was his last game with Aston Villa. I don't think he had another game after that. Villa fans were very, very vocal about it and getting rid of him. Villa fans ended up in arguments with Steve Bruce's son, Alex, on Twitter all the time. He was constantly trying to defend him, which I think I've seen a lot of spats with him with Newcastle fans as well. Yes. But yeah, it did take something as crazy as throwing a cabbage for I think the owners to realise that this wasn't the man, and this wasn't working out for the fans. So maybe Does it take another big gesture like that? Probably does. But I don't think Mike. I think Mike Ashley's got bigger skin than most chairmen.
No, he won't sack him. I don't think he'll sack him because at the end of the day, I think Mike Ashley's absolutely gutless to sack him. Do you know what I mean? And he just doesn't care. As far as I'm concerned, he's just washed his hands off the club. He just put the keys through the post and saying, do you know what? I don't want to go back to Newcastle again. Do you know what I mean? All he wants is money, money, money all the time. That's all it is. I've got Ryan here, evening, John, to you as well. I hope you're okay. And I missed one here. The league's most inconsistent players are Shelvey, in my honest opinion. I mean, what do you think of Shelvey, you? I mean, I know you're not a Newcastle fan, but what do you think of John Joe Shelvey as a player?
I think he's much. I mean, I'm not sure how old he is, but I'm pretty sure he's much past. Yeah, like he just isn't. Like I remember, like years and years ago, like he used to be a half decent player. Like, but I just think as the years went on, he just hasn't been the same. And like for the games I have seen with him, he hasn't done much. Like if it's something small as winning a free kick, like that's all I've seen from him, and I'm not really fond of him, to be honest.
No. Liam, what do you make of John Joe Shelvey?
I think when he's on his game, he can be very good. I think he makes a lot of things happen for you guys, but you'll tell me more about Newcastle. It doesn't seem to be happening often enough. But I think he has got an awful lot of quality. It's just getting someone who can get that out of him.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Rafa Benitez tried to get rid of him, right? So we got back in the Premier League because Rafa Benitez did not rate him at all whatsoever. And I don't rate John Joe. I'm not a big fan of him at all whatsoever because all these Hollywood passes, right, I think comes off an FE1 and FE10. And for me, I think he had his time in Newcastle United. He's on 80 grand a week and he's so lazy, right? When the going gets tough, he doesn't look interested. And when he gets frustrated, he gets yellow cards and stuff. Do you know what I mean? But I think he's tried to deliberately get sent off as well. So he's just thinking, do you know what? I can't be asked to be at the club, sort of thing. So I don't want to be on the pitch. But John Joe Shelvey, not for me. I just don't rate him at all whatsoever. And I've always said we need a creativity midfielder since Johan Cabaye. We've not had that for 7 or 8 years since he's left. And that is what we need. And the club's gone backwards as well ever since then. I got Jake as well. A rivalry supposed formed between our clubs since the game where Bielsa let you score, but it's always felt manufactured by the media too. I'll come to that in a minute. Is there any strong feeling one way or another at your end? I'll go with Liam.
Yeah, it's such a strange one that happened. I think it spilled over at the time, and nothing was kind of made of it in the fan base anyway. And then all of a sudden, Leeds came up to the Prem, and there was this weird rivalry that was formed between us. I don't know where that came from. Constant spats again, as I said. Twitter is a bit of a cesspit for these kind of things. Manufactured rivalries from fans, and then I think during the Euros, I think the kind of natural understanding from Villa fans about how good Calvin Phillips was, and vice versa about how good Grealish was, seemed to kind of. Everyone kind of came together and kind of put that to bed. I think the Grealish move to Man City, I think a lot of fans from other clubs have all come together to kind of, and we're hoping that Aston Villa were going to keep Grealish in regards to so the big clubs weren't just buying out the better players from the other clubs. But yeah, it was a strange one. It was a very, very strange one. But I don't see Leeds as a top rivalry. I think they're a very good side, and they'll probably be the team that are pushing us for top 10. That's all it is in my eyes.
Yeah, I totally agree. Do you do it as well? Like social media?
Yeah, I agree as well. I just remember that one.
Definitely. Yeah, I was saying, so what's going to happen this as well for you to on this game as well? I mean, I don't know if you listen to Talk Sport, Liam. I mean, what are the pundits and the presenters on Talk Sport? Do you think they look after the big six too much, or do you think just dismiss the other 14 clubs?
Yeah, I think Talk Sport in particular have been really poor with how they've kind of gone about things. It looks as if there's people angling for moves, pushing the top six as a priority. And you kind of have to wonder how some of those guys, like Danny Mills, don't know how he still got a job there. Some of the facts that they spout are nonsensical. I think there has been a bias. I think Sky Sports have been big on that as well. Sky Sports were posting pictures of Jack Grealish in a Man City jersey long before this was ever happening. They seem to be starting to do it with Kane now as well. And I think the thing that's been really disappointing from it all was Sky Sports were the ones who were most disappointed with, and you Gary Neville coming out and being really strong about this Super League and totally against it, and Sky Sports backed him, and they put out all these different posters about it, and then it's like nothing's changed. They're pushing the top six again, and what's going to happen is if Chelsea and Man City and United start picking off the best of the best of the rest, we're going to have a situation where it will be a Super League, or we're going to end up in a situation like Bayern Munich, who just handpicked the best of everyone else and have a dominant kind of run in those leagues, which would be an awful shame, because I think the English Premiership is probably one of the best that's out there in Europe.
Yeah, that's a fair point. It's a fair shout. And Rio, same questions to you. Do you think TalkSport's has been a bit poor? Pundits?
Yeah, I agree with most of what Liam said. Like, even like everything about, like, I think it was a few days ago, they were posting pictures of Cristiano Ronaldo in like a Man City shirt, and I think for Ronaldo to come out and make like a big claim about it all, and I just think what's going on with like the Big Six and all of this, it's just ruining like the Premier League as a whole.
Yeah, my opinion is that all this Big Six and TalkSport. Well, I'll be watching TalkSport for 22. Yeah, right. Some great pundits there like Alan Brazil, Mike Parry, Graham Beecroft, Richard Kaufman, right? All these pundits come out sort of and talk about every single club that's going on. Now, last few months, I've noticed all they talk about is the Big Six all the time. I get pundits come on and say Mikel Arteta's under pressure, Arsenal sort of thing. If he doesn't win this and that, on top of it, he'll be sacked. If they don't start well, they'll be sacked. You know what I mean? And all these top six, on Solskjaer was under pressure as well. They want him sacked as well. Simon Jordan thinks he's not good enough. But when it comes to Newcastle United and Steve Bruce, they've been saying, he's done a wonderful job. He's done a wonderful job that he's got, yeah? No, he hasn't. They're only saying that he's done a wonderful job because they would have wound up the Newcastle fans up. But what I'm saying now, if Steve Bruce is that wonderful, why wasn't Celtic, Wolves, Spurs, Everton was after him? Why did those four clubs want after us, even Palace? Why would he not link to Steve Bruce? Did they think it's that wonderful? Why? Can someone explain that to us, please? I'll start with Liam.
Yeah, Bruce obviously just isn't good enough, and I don't know whether there seems to be a lot of those players that played around the same time, or maybe played under Steve Bruce, or were bought by Steve Bruce, seem to have a bit of an alliance to him. But yeah, no, it has been poor, and I have to say, over even with the takeover stuff, for Newcastle, the coverage on that has been appalling. Of people saying that Leeds need to be happy with what they have. They should be happy that they're in the Premier League and they're being kept up there. That's again nonsense. Newcastle want to be back in Europe, back in the glory days of when they were pushing. Those days of Shea Given and the kind of the glory days when they were pushing the top four on a consistent basis. And Newcastle deserve to be able to push for that. And it's not right that you've got media who are kind of pushing that back and mocking fans and telling them to settle. No fan should have to settle for fighting relegation and boring football every year. And I think it's wrong. It's really wrong, the coverage that's out there. It's a huge top six bias. Huge.
Definitely, because they're telling the top six are controlling the Premier League and Richard Masters as well. So when they're telling Richard Masters, I'd say, do not let this take over by Newcastle to happen. And he's actually listening to them. That's why he's delaying tactics, delaying. So they put the court case back and back and back, sort of thing. And we've got the cat case coming up next month. I'm not going to give up on the takeover, but if this cat case doesn't happen, I'm going to say for the first time, this takeover ain't going to happen. because the Premier League wants the Saudis to walk away, right? So what they're doing, they just hold them by submission. And you know what it is, right? We need to know one way or another, is it going to happen or not? We need the Saudis to come to us and say, look, this takeover, I'm afraid it's not going to happen. And the Premier League is going to be laughing. The Premier League's going to love it. You know what I mean? But I don't want the Saudis to give up. No way. Because the court case is going to happen. Arbitration is going to happen until next year, which is sad news there. And you're right. We need success. We need hope. We need to be back amongst the big elite clubs again at Newcastle United. Do you know what I mean? So, I mean, I'm having it on. So I'll go into the comments, sorry. And it's going to see Newcastle, Leeds, Villa all in the top flight together. Feels like the good old days. Well, until next season, we will get relegated as things stands. I've got tools as well. Go back. Bruce is like, pea-flavoured lolly, totally useless. Yep. I'm going to Pete. By the way, John, Steve Bruce has said he inherited the back five system from Rafa and the players can't play anywhere. Well, that's my impression anyway. Peter, I don't know what it is, right? Steve Bruce is useless, yeah? Back five ain't going to work. It's never going to work. It doesn't work. Go to 4-2-3-1. And I'm sorry, that's the only way we're going to win games. This five at the back will not work. And I've said this for months now, but again, Pete, thanks for that. Jake, too right. What's the point of being a fan if you don't want your team, whether Newcastle, Liverpool, or Harrogate, to win succeed? There's literally no point of sport without it. Rio, do you think Rio, that there's going to be they're going to try the Super League again?
Sorry, what? My phone's being really laggy right now.
No, that's fine. It's the Super League. Do you think the Super League is going to come back again, or do you think that's gone?
Yeah, I think it's gonna come back again. Whether it's like tomorrow, next year, 10 years, it will happen again. Because I remember seeing something about like the head person in it wanting to try again, but I think it won't happen because of the whole penalty thing. Like I know players only got, or the teams only got fined like I think it was like 2 million or something each. So I don't know what's the consequence going to be next time, but I don't think it's going to happen again in any time soon. But in the long term, I think there will be talks of it coming back.
Yeah, I think is. I tell you what, though, if the Premier League do get involved with the Big Six again, getting the Super League, shame on them. They should have got a takeover happen. They should have got a takeover months ago, but they didn't. They were absolutely spineless, gutless. I'm sorry if I've gone on a rant, Liam, because Newcastle needs a takeover. We had 40 for Mike Ashley, right? Surely now, we as a fan want some hope.
Yeah, I think you absolutely deserve it. I think the Saudis are going to want to come in, and I think they'll still be there. They'll still be knocking at the door. They'll be looking at their neighbours in Qatar and the business that they're doing in PSG. They'll be looking at what's happening in Man City. And they're setting up empires. They're investing in small clubs all around the world. I think the Manchester franchise has got maybe, is it 10, 11, 12 different clubs that are under that franchise now. And I think the Saudis are realizing that they're late to the game with it a little bit. So I think they'll still be there. But yeah, you're right. I think there's a bit of a game going on. I don't think the Premier League wants it to happen. I don't think they want the money invested to be coming in to Newcastle. And I think you're right. I think there's something that's trying to withhold that and withstand it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, the Premier League, best league in the world. Yeah, whatever. Give us Surrey at any time of the day. Honestly, I got Jules game. Masters of Hoffman are so corrupt that Capone looks like an angel. Yeah, you got that one right. Grealish derangement syndrome is a thing, but I've always rated him highly. However, he is an expert at winning free kicks. Would have been nostalgic if when he eventually does it against Villa.
I'll jump in. Yeah, it doesn't bother me. I'm one of those ones who thinks that Jack's actually very, very clever in how he wins his frees. I think he's got a very low center of gravity. I think he's very, very quick. I think he knocks the ball on at the perfect time when he knows that he's going to be taken out. But I don't think I don't think it's going to be as plain sailing for him at City as a lot of people may think it's going to be. I think City like to move the ball on quick. Jack slows the ball down an awful lot. He seems to that it looks like he's going to play in a centre three, which I don't think he like either. I think Jack wants to go where he wants to go, and Pep seems to be very prescriptive of where he wants every position to be. But yeah, of course, we'll still shout at him when he's going down. But I think he's very clever in how he wins his frees. I think it's just a trait of his that he has.
Yes, I mean, he's a quality player, Grealish. I mean, I think he's a decent player. Once he gets used to it and Man City, I think he's going to be a world beater, this kid. But not yet. But KDB is a world beater. Paul Pogba, when he behaves us, is a world beater as well. So, yeah. And I've got Peter as well. John, you know that, and the fans know that, but Bruce is too stubborn on his ways. You know what? Sack him. Just sack him. He ain't going to change his ways. Get rid of him. Sack him. Get someone in. Eddie Howe will be a perfect manager. I mean, real. Do you think if Steve Bruce does get the sack, do you think Eddie Howe will be a good replacement for him? No?
Yeah, I think so, because genuinely, like, he's able to do more than Bruce can right now, because Bruce at the moment, he isn't doing it for the football, he's doing it for the money. Like, everything he's doing, like, he puts 50% effort in, and then spends the other 50% wondering how much he's going to be getting this week. But yeah, I think if you could get anyone as a replacement for Bruce, just to even see how they work, it would be great for the club, and I think it could push you higher than what you already are.
Yeah, and same question to you, Liam. Do you think Eddie Howe will be a good appointment for Newcastle if Bruce does get the sack?
I'm undecided on Eddie Howe. I find it hard to kind of know what brand of football that he's played. He's not proven to be great with signing players of big money. You know, the likes of Solanke have come in there and Jordan Ibe have come in. Not really done much. I don't know whether, would you make a move for someone like Sean Dyche maybe? Would Sean Dyche move to you? I don't know. You know, I know he works on a very, very small budget. He might have a little bit more freedom of that at Newcastle. Might tighten things up for you guys defensively. Yeah, I think I would be more likely to go for Dyche than I would for Eddie Howe.
Yeah, I mean, Sean Dyche, I think, is a cracking manager. He really is, but he still plays a long ball sort of thing. I wouldn't mind that manager, West Brom, Ishmael. I wouldn't mind having him as well. I think he's decent. I think he's really decent manager. Okay, he plays the long ball, but what he does, right, he presses the players high. That's what he does, you know what I mean? And that's how you win games. No messing about. Get the ball forward. I know it's not attractive to watch, but I tell you something, some of the football as well has been good. But yeah, I agree with you. But Eddie Howe, sort of, I'd take him. I have no complaints about him, but anyone better than Steve Bruce. And before we talk about the team lineup for Saturday, I've got Jake here. Who do you think is going to win the? I'll start with you, real. Who do you think is going to win the league? And who's your three? Who's bottom is going to get relegated?
I actually think Chelsea might push the Premiership this year. They're either going to go far in Champions League or push in the Premier League and get knocked out early. So I don't like for Chelsea even balancing Champions League football and Premier League football. Like I think the last game of the season before their Champions League final, they played us, and you could just tell balancing both European and like English football was not easy for them, and like after they lost to us. So I think maybe Chelsea or City, and then relegation, I think maybe Watford, Brighton, Burnley. It's a weird one, but I'm not sure.
Watford, Brighton, Burnley. I don't think Brighton will go down. I really don't. And I just don't think I think Brighton will be fine on the pot. They needed a centre forward anyway, and they're even okay. Liam, who's going to win the title, and who do you think your fee's going to go?
Yeah, I think Chelsea will be the surprise package as well. I think Tuchel has a very good organisation. I think Lukaku is going to be a very, very good signing for them. I think we're starting to see the best of Ziyech. He's had a good pre-season, and Havertz. Relegation, I think Burnley are in trouble. I think Southampton are in trouble, and I think Norwich will go down.
Fair enough. For me, I say Chelsea's going to win the league. I think I said Man United was going to win it, but now Chelsea bought Lukaku. I think it'll make a difference to Chelsea. That's the striker they need, and I think Tuchel's going to make Chelsea so hard to beat home and away from games and that as well. And he's a winner as well. He's proved that. He won the Champions League. And what he wants to do now is win the title. When Tuchel came in as Chelsea manager, everyone was saying, Thomas who? But I tell you something, he's a damn good manager, him. I think he's quality. And he plays the ball the right way as well. So Chelsea's going to win. And for relegation, for me, is going to be, I think Southampton's going to be in trouble this season. I really do. Southampton, Norwich. And if we don't get things right by Christmas, if we're in the bottom three in December, I think it'd be us as well. But I think we might just about as good as that teeth. So it's going to be between Watford and Newcastle for me. And I think out of the twos at the minute, it'll probably be us. But I hope I'm wrong. But I say Southampton, Norwich. I say Watford. I think Newcastle just about there was a skin of their teeth. And then Steve Bruce will have to be moved on after that. So that's my thing. And I've got here, Jake, have fun. Thomas, even if you weren't even to T, hope you're okay. Have a good one, John. Take care and have fun. You tools, so stay safe. Yeah, Thomas, and just people just saying, and everyone else. You have a team in Team Review Fantasy League, Thomas. So Thomas don't know that. And Jake, promoted team certainly a step up from West Brom Fulham last season will make things much tougher for all our clubs, I think. I totally agree. I mean, for the Championship, Jed just mentioned two teams there. West Brom and Fulham. What do you got this season? I'll start with you, Liam.
That's hard to know. I think Bournemouth are going to be a well-organised side. I think Scott Parker will do a good job there. I think the Championship is such a hard league. It's hard to know who'll come straight back up. You know, Fulham with a new manager might take a little bit of time for them to kind of come back in. I think it's a tricky one. You know, I think West Brom have started quite strong. I think they won their opening 2 games. I think they won midweek as well. So they're looking quite sharp. But yeah, I think the Championship it's anyone's game there.
Yeah. I totally agree, man. But for me, I'm going to say what I've always said that West Brom will probably be the ones that go up with Bournemouth. I think those 3 are looking good. And I believe those 3, the teams that got relegated, are going to go back, to go back up again. So watch out for QPR, by the way. I think QPR looks very decent. They really look decent. And Rio, what about you? What do you think's going to go for the Championship?
I don't think any of the promoted or the relegated teams are going to go back up. But I think maybe Nottingham Forest, that's a weird one because they're on such a bad start. Bournemouth and QPR, that's what I'm doing.
QPR. Yep, fair enough. And I think that's absolutely amazing. This sort of in the Championship, it looks good. But I don't want to be there. If we get relegated, we will struggle. We're going to end up having like an under 23 squad because Aston ain't going to spend a penny. But now on Saturday's game. I mean, are they going to play 4-2-3-1? And what do you think the score's going to be for your wrap up? What do you think the score's going to be? I'll start with you, Rio.
I think it'll be 3-1 to us. It's weird, but I think Bailey will get 1. Watkins, if he plays, will get 2. And then Kieran Clark.
Yeah, fair enough. And
Liam.
I think 3-1's a good shout. I think Bailey and Watkins will get 1. And I can see a penalty in the game as well. I think the wingers will push into the box. And I think, as you said, there's chaos among those centre-backs at Newcastle. I think there's a sure thing to be a penalty given away there. But I think Villa have to be very, very cautious. I think Sam Maximin can cause an awful lot of trouble. And I think Wilson, he picks up those right positions in front of our centre backs as well. So I think we've got to be careful and not get caught out in the hop. And Bruce will want to get one over on Aston Villa. So, but I think what will put us through will be the atmosphere in Villa Park. I think that will be that's going to be electric.
Yeah, I think it'll be a sellout. I mean, I don't think Newcastle sold out their tickets at all, sort of thing. If you go back over the past few years under Bobby Robson, Rafa Benitez, even Kevin Keegan, those away tickets just go like hot cakes. It really, really does, yeah. But Newcastle United, on general sale, that's really unheard of for that football club, because at the end of the day, right, that shouldn't happen. They'd be sold out for season ticket holders only. Get out of the way, but. You know, it just goes to show how far we've fallen, unfortunately, at Newcastle and actually over the years. And that's sad about a football club, do you know what I mean? But for me, I'll say you're going to beat us by 4-1. I think we're going to be 3-0 during the half time. I've said that to people. You'll be 3 up before half time. I think you probably score 3 goals in the first 30 minutes. I think, let's be honest about that. But at the end of the day, all I'm saying, we're just not good enough because our defence is shambolic. He's got to change the defence for me. I mean, Fernandez, Lascelles got to come in. Shear's got to come in. I've dropped Kraft, definitely drop him. Kieran Clark are not good enough at all whatsoever. We haven't got a pacey back three. And for me, I definitely have to play Richie. I'll bring Jamal Lewis in at left wing back, keep Murphy right wing back. The midfield was this big star. I'll drop Shelby, yeah. I'll definitely play Matty Longstaff, Isaac Hayden. I've got to play, I have to leave Amiron in as well, because if he plays as a 10 role and then play ASM and Callum Wilson up top, and he's going to play further back. It's pointless me saying, guys, play 4-2-3-1, because Steve Bruce will not do it. And I'm going to say Villa 4, Newcastle 1 on Saturday. And how about Blackburn being promoted from the Championship? Yeah, they won, didn't they, yesterday? And they're doing okay at the minute. And they're missing Armstrong, though. But listen, at the end of the day, they're still doing well. And they're starting well. So I will choose thanks, mate. Where will Matty Longstaff go out on loan? This is another thing. Matty Longstaff, very few guys know, he scored against Man United in his first Premier League game, right? He scored twice, at home and away. And since then, Steve Bruce hasn't played him because Matty and Sean, they're both Longstaffs, apparently must have said something about Bruce, and Bruce haven't been playing them at all. But Matty Longstaff will be away on loan, probably to Nottingham Forest as well. He's got 12 months left on his contract. He should have gone to Udinese last season, in my eyes. He's missed the boat. And I don't know if you guys see Matty Longstaff played.
Yeah, I like him. I was actually reading about him today because he's been linked to Everton and going back under Benitez. I think he's a player that Aston Villa could possibly do with if they're not looking to spend big money and fill in that centre position. I think he could do a job there, and I think the fee being touted is about 10 million. I think that's a really good fee. Then the other Longstaff brother, I think, is going on loan to Nottingham Forest. I don't know a whole pile about him, but yeah, Matty Longstaff looks like he was 50 million when he was rated at one point, wasn't he?
Yeah. I mean, he's been at the first team and, and they played a couple of games as well. I love Matty Longstaff. He works hard for the team. He's got a passion, the hunger, desire, and he tries to have a shot at goal as well. But unfortunately, Steve Bruce, as he just doesn't rate him, we just don't want to play him. So, according to Peter as well, he said that Matty has been injured recently, according to Steve Bruce. I can tell you now, Steve Bruce is telling lies yet again. If he does move on, he has to have a medical first. I can guarantee you one thing, he will not get past with an injury at all. But if that's true, then I'm sorry. This is the club. This football club doesn't do much communication between the club and the fans. Yeah, that's the most important thing, is communication. Your chairman, Christian Purslow, or chief exec, by the way, come out when he saw Grealish and told the fans why they had to sell him. That is connection between the club and the fans. We got Lee Charnley. He's our chief exec. He does not communicate with the fans, the press, the media, no one. Yeah. And this is why our football club is a banter club and is sinking so fast. But if you got Matty Longstaff on loan, I think it'd be brilliant for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think with the 12 months, I don't think a loan's really an option, is it? Unless he signs a 1-year extension, which you won't want to do.
Yeah,
I think he'll go to Everton. He'll go for 10 million.
Yeah, Sean Longstaff would probably go. We was Man U wanted for 40 million, 40 to 50 million. Paul Rafa turned it down a couple of years ago. So going from 40 million to 10 million, right? It just goes to show that Sean Longstaff, as much as I like him, it's gone backwards, unfortunately. Do you know what I mean? Because I would have took the 40 to 50 million Paul. I would say thanks very much. He ain't worth the money to whatsoever. I'll say thanks very much. Yo, take the money. But at the end of the day, we missed the trick. We could have took that money, but with Sean Longstaff, when he's fit, because he had that nasty knee injury last season, obviously, years since for that. But when he's fit, he's a good player. He gets closer like Rafa Benitez. He's good. But if he goes, then I'm going to miss him. But that's another player from the product of the academy that's gone. Matthew Longstaff will go as well. And I don't know what to say, but our academy most of us cease to exist, because at the end of the day, what's the point of bringing players up when you're not going to get in the first team? I don't know what your academy is like. Is your academy good at Villa? Is the academy good there?
Yeah, it is actually all right. But obviously we just won the Youth FA Cup, which is pretty big for us. But what's his name? Yeah, a lot of our players have been sent out on loan, like our young players. So I don't know how we're gonna do this season for our academy. Well, obviously we've got the likes of Carney, Chukwuemeka, Aaron Ramsey, Jacob Ramsey, all of them, and they're looking really promising to be like big players. And obviously we just signed his brother, Caleb Chukwuemeka. But yeah, I'm really happy with our academy at the moment, and I think it's just gonna keep getting better and better as we go on.
Sure. Good shout. And what about you, Liam? Academy good?
Yeah, I think again that just shows you again how good our owners are being. They've overhauled the academy. They've put in new facilities for them. They're currently building another facility as well to try and pick up young talent that is in the local area. They are going out of their way to try and buy the best 14, 15, 16-year-olds that are in the country. And the idea is now that the academy has not just got like 22 and 23-year-olds who are sitting playing with under 23s. The idea now is that our 16 and 17-year-olds should be doing that, and they should be learning to play with men. We've had about 6 or 7 of our academy players go out on loan down through the divisions. We've got Caden Hessler, Luke Young, just to name 2 anyway. We have a few more that have gone out as well, and that's the right way to do it. You know, we can't be hoping that one player might make it through. We've got to be really pushing on these guys, getting them in good and young to be able to try and progress them. So I think there's exciting things coming out of the Villa Academy, and as you said earlier on in the video, it just shows you what good owners can do for a club.
Yeah, totally agree. It's just a shame like Ashley is not interested at all whatsoever. Not interested at all. He doesn't care. And we've got some young players coming through as well. We've got Elias Anderson as well. Apparently he's injured, sort of thing. Steve Bruce do not like young players. When he came against Arsenal in the FA Cup last season, I thought he was actually decent. But unfortunately, he hasn't played since. And Steve Bruce tried to get him on loan to Luton. That hasn't even materialised at all whatsoever. Do you know what I mean? But the Longstaffs is going to be finished at Newcastle. I can tell you that now. Anderson's going to go out on loan. And then we've got no Geordie players coming through, which is a damn shame, because the club has gone backwards from top to bottom. It really has. I mean, Ashley doesn't care about the club. And we just got Gary Caldwell as well coming in as the under-23s coach on the short term. That says a lot, doesn't it? It really says a lot. Our club is an absolute joke. We're a banter club as well. I've got Peter again, Liam and Rio. Would you swap Trezeguet for Shelby?
It doesn't really make much sense, but I think needs must. I think Shelby would is more likely to get a game for Aston Villa than Trezeguet would. I think Villa are stacked in the wing area. And young Philogene Boudet coming through as well. I don't see Trezeguet getting much game time this season. I think Shelby, because we're kind of lightish in the middle of what we need. But yeah, it's a strange one. I don't think it wouldn't really make sense.
Fair enough. And I take you're not very impressed then, Real. No, with Shelby, you wouldn't take him. I take it.
No,
not for you.
Very different players. Very different players, and I don't think they really. It's not really something that should happen. if it did, I'd be very concerned.
Fair enough. Okay. Well, listen, guys. I mean, thank you very much for coming. I'm going to wrap it up, and we've been an hour and 20 minutes. It's quite a long time, and I know Qatar is a bit late, and you're in the UK, of course, and you got to come back on the game. And did you enjoy coming on the show, Liam? Did you enjoy coming on?
Yeah, it's great. It's great to kind of sit with other fans and get an insight into how their clubs are being run. I think you don't hear about a lot of the things that are going on, so it's nice to hear the different side of things. I've got a question for you though before the end.
Yeah, good for it.
Well, if I offered you now John Terry to lead instead of Bruce for this weekend for the rest of the season, would you take that risk?
Take John Terry as Newcastle manager.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I'll say why not. I know a lot of people is going to say, no, we don't want John Terry anywhere near our club. But I tell you what, it can't do any worse. And I think the players will look up to John Terry because John Terry is a winner. He's an absolute winner. He's won everything in his career. He's won the Champions League, the Premier League, the FA Cup. The guy's the winner. And I think I have no problems with giving John Terry a shot at Newcastle, if you know what I mean. The question is, has he got the experience though? I don't think Charlie or Ashley, right, would take on a manager with no experience. Do you know what I mean? That's the problem. And John Terry will probably be demanding as well. Will he play attacking style of football? That's another thing. So it'd be very interesting if John Terry became Newcastle manager. Do you know what? I'm looking forward to it if it does come to fruition. Do you know what I mean? I think he'd do okay. But if he faces back Ashley and sorts them out, then yeah, he'd be a hero. But would John Terry come to Newcastle? I doubt it very much. I'd take him, but I doubt it.
Yeah.
I think he'd do well. I think he'd do okay, but I think you don't want Steve Bruce back then. No.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having us. I really appreciate you inviting us on. I've really enjoyed it, so thank you very much for that.
You don't go away yet. And that's fine. And did you enjoy coming on my show there, Rio? Did you enjoy coming on my show?
Yeah, it was really great. Like getting to hear about what other fans think about our club and what's going on in their club as well. So it finally gave me a lot of insight on what's actually happening around, obviously, world. Well, not world, but in English football at the moment.
Yeah. Fantastic. I'm glad you both came on there. But I've got the press conference reactions tomorrow at around about 7:30. Then I'm going to go on the Two Reviews show at 9 o'clock for a match preview, Newcastle with Paul. So looking forward to that. The watch along around about 2:15. I'll be doing that if I can get a stream up, do the player ratings as well. And if you do like the video, where do you find you, Leon? Do you have a YouTube channel or do you just use Twitter?
We've just got Twitter, we've got an Instagram, we've got a Facebook page. So we're mostly active on Twitter. So it's just at Aston Lines. So drop us a follow and join in the banter for the game.
Champion stuff. And Rio, do you have the YouTube channel or you just use Twitter, Insta?
Yeah, I've got a YouTube channel, but I don't really upload. It's just literally Rio, same as I have now. And then my Twitter was obviously just the same.
Yeah. That's fair enough. And I've got my YouTube channel is John Sinclair, NUFC. And I've got my YouTube, my Twitter account, John is NUFC42. I don't use Insta a lot, but it's Insta John Sinclair and Facebook John Sinclair as well. And if you do like the channel, please smash the likes up, leave the comment sections down below. I'm going to communicate as well. And also, the most important thing is subscribe to my channel. Guys, thank you very much for coming on. Make sure you come back again. And let's make the best team win on Saturday.
Yeah.
Take care, guys. Thanks for coming.